right. Looks like we might be up and running. Let me take a moment here to check in on my signal, make sure it's true. I've got some social media postings to do real quick, and then we'll get to work. So hold on real fast here. Just checking in on the signal, make sure it's clear. Mic check. Signal, make sure. Yep, sounds like it's pretty good. Hey, just so you know, my name is Phil Kearney. What's up? I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And I'm creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, the 2024 rules that came out last year. Specifically, we're developing a new product called Bastion Campaigns. We'll walk through the document here with you guys in a few minutes, but just want to make sure I have everything sitting. Looks like I have a misalignment here with my... How'd that look? Yeah, my shit's off. Hold on. Let me fix. That's not it. Let's grab Windows here and what if we do it like that? And then we grab this and pull that over. How does that look? Not quite the right direction. The way the hell is right here. Nope. Sorry, I have to futz with this because I have to futz with it. It's necessary. I know people are dropping like flies, like what the hell is this kid doing? Sometimes I don't know either, folks. And we're creating role-playing games. That's right. We're playing role-playing games. I illustrate, I design, illustrate, and publish role-playing games. I'm focusing my attention on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition because I am a DM of 40 years with a huge love for Dungeons & Dragons. That's what I started with, and I've played pretty much every edition at this point. And it's a great game system. But I love 5e. It's such a great engine to just like kit bash with, you know, like you can build things with 5e. Really, it's so well structured that you can replace or add on mechanical systems to basically curve with any kind of narrative that you want in through the D&D 5e game engine. So I am a huge fan of it. And I grew up on BECME, the basic expert, yada yada. And that was all about like Dominion style of play, like where your characters gain agency and authority over land, and you end up getting like followers and yada yada yada. You expand this empire, and I absolutely love that. That was my favorite part of everything, like every edition of D&D up through 3rd when they dropped it on 4th, basically. I never got in far enough with 4e to know if they ever got back into kingdom building, but I don't think they did. And so the Bastion campaign system that they have in the 5e2 for DMG, it's basically just if your characters are willing to have this thing, the DM gives you free stuff. That's pretty much what the rules are. And that doesn't settle right to me. I'm very much a roll it to earn it, and if you fail the die roll, it creates new opportunities for adventure, which is exactly why we're calling it the Bastion campaign, because it's an episodic adventure where every week is a Bastion turn, and every Bastion turn you have events that occur, and you have orders that you issue to your Bastion to either produce things for you or create connections with neighboring communities, or like strike a bargain with someone somewhere, or go like send off headhunters to like find a particular specialist, like a sage that might know something or whatever. You know, there's like a million things you could task your Bastion to do. But that's all kind of like downtime activities. And the way that Bastions are currently structured is that there's no challenges, there's no ability checks, there's no real victories gained through your Bastion. But through this framing that we're using, hold on real quick. Let me fix my screens real quick before I get too far into this, because I will get far into this. Okay, cool. So if you're still here and you like this kind of stuff, holy new subscribers, thanks a lot, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we're live in the future. I really appreciate that people think this stuff is cool like I do. So God bless you. Here's the entire playlist of all the episodes of us creating the Bastion campaign system. Here's a bunch of books I've already created on the DMs Guild. They all have free previews, so you can read them cover. If I publish it, you can read it cover to cover. But if you buy it, it has like tokens and like play pieces and like character sheets and stuff like that. So it's worth your time to buy most of the stuff. But check this stuff out. It'll give you a good idea of like the kind of art I like to do, and the kind of design ideas that I have. And we just keep every book that we produce we just keep getting better and better stuff. So I illustrate books that I publish in the morning and in the evening like this on Mondays and Thursdays, as well as on Tuesdays and Fridays at lunchtime. I'll do some design work like this. Otherwise, when I'm off screen doing things that you can't see, I'm either hanging with family, or I'm painting, or writing up something, or doing page layouts, whatever is the next thing on my block. My hobby is basically playing D&D, but other role-playing games too. But basically, my hobby is to run D&D for my teams on a weekly basis, and then my hobby is to build the books that I want in my campaign when I'm DMing for my groups on a weekly basis. I think they're cool enough to add to a campaign, so I codify it, get rid of all of the flaws and system breaking shit through playtesting with my home tables. And anyone else that's willing to playtest or grab it and run it in your own game if you want, God bless you. But yeah, playtest it, come up with the idea, playtest it. If it works, codify it, get rid of all the flaws, make it good language, hire an editor, and then slap back the manuscript for me to then do page layouts, create holes in the page for artwork, drop the pages into Photoshop, and then paint. So Monday through Friday right now, I'm painting an Eberron adventure that I created with some friends. And right now we're building the Bastion campaign. So without further ado, here is the Bastion campaign. This is a Google Doc. It's a read-only document for you, but this is the document that I'm working in. So if you're reading along with me here live, you'll see my mouse school around inside the document, perhaps like you will as well when you explore it. And like all my other books that are linked down below, once this is published, it'll be out there for free. We're gonna have like a Bastion tracking sheet. Maybe we'll have some like army tokens and stuff. I don't know. We'll figure out some cool little assets for folks to pick up on and make it worth their time. But definitely a Bastion tracking sheet is going to be mandatory. So we'll be building that out, and you'll get that for free when you download the thing for purchase. So bless you if you do. But right now we're working on. I got my internet got clipped last time we were here, episode 46. And so we've figured out Bastion conflicts 2 and 3 episodes ago, and we resolved all of the orders and facilities and downtime activities that can be performed inside of a Bastion. So the last steps that we need to resolve is franchising and governing settlements. Let's see, franchising, and yeah, let's do that. Let's just call it franchising and governing. That's probably accurate language. When a Bastion adds a government to its, when a Bastion takes ownership. Now let's word it like this: when a Bastion becomes the when a Bastion takes command of another Bastion or a settlement. When a Bastion takes command of another Bastion or a settlement, it can gain control of other Bastions and attract. Let's see. Damn it! How do I want to word this? When a Bastion becomes the patron? Is that it? The commander? I don't want to use the word commander because I'm going to be doing something like this for a separate system, and I want to use the word command in that one. When a bastion becomes a bastion that takes control of another bastion or a settlement as one of its facilities. A bastion can issue orders to other bastions and communities and settlements. Bastions and settlements. A bastion can issue orders to other bastions and settlements. By expending bastion points to establish a franchise, other bastions, or government by expending bastion points to establish a franchise or government as facilities in the bastion. These facilities through these facilities, a bastion can issue orders. There it is. Can issue orders to bastions they've franchised or settlements they govern. As detailed in the corresponding facilities above. As above and additional there we go. So a bastion can issue orders to other bastions and settlements by expending bastion points to establish a franchise over other bastions, or government franchise over franchise through other bastions. That's the right language. To establish a government through franchise through other bastions and governments through and governments over a bastion can issue orders to other bastions and settlements by expending bastion points to establish franchises and government for settlements as facilities in the bastion. Through these facilities, a bastion can issue orders similar to how characters issue orders to their bastion, including maintaining a lifestyle. Including maintaining a lifestyle for the hirelings or residents. For the hirelings and residents within. These facilities are detailed above. As facilities in the Bastion as detailed above. There we go. That made it clean. Through these facilities, a Bastion can issue orders similar to how characters issue orders to the Bastion, including maintaining a lifestyle for hireling residents within. Franchises. Franchises are separate bastions that are governing. There we go. Do I really want to make this a facility, or do we just want to make this something that you can do? I mean, the only function of it is to issue orders, but I don't want to. I don't think I want to put it inside of. Yeah, I don't want to put it inside of a facility structure. I think I want to have it as a standalone where you can expend as many points as you want on it, because you have to spend 1 point per rank of bastion or settlement that you're governing. So we can drop that franchising language and we can just call it governing. I think let's look up the definition of governing just to make sure that we like how that reads. Governing. Define govern. Conduct a policy, action, and affairs of a state, organization, or people. That'll work. That will work. Governing. There we go. Governing bastions and settlements. No, honestly, yeah, I think that will work in the sense of, because you have to be a certain, okay, so you could, that's it. Okay. Governing, let's go, I'm going to crack open a second document here, and I'm going to pull this tab into its own window so I can tab flip. Let's grab this, and let's surf down to government. Basic facility benefits. When issuing the trade order to acquire material or non-magical, you can roll an additional bastion die. You can govern a bastion. You can govern additional bastions and settlements. You can govern bastions and settlements, there we go, of a rank up to the same of settlements of a rank equal to up to the rank of the government as detailed in the settlements section below. Difficulty of governing the settlement is determined by its size. Difficulty of governing the bastion or settlement is determined by the size and population as listed below. Downtime activity. A character that spends a bastion turn. Okay. The difficulty to you can govern bastions and settlements of a rank up to the rank of the government Yeah, we'll call it government. You can govern bastions and settlements of a rank equal to this facility. Equal to this facility as detailed in the governing bastions and settlements section below. A character that spends a bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility gains advantage on all charisma checks with residents. Charisma checks with residents of the settlement. Yeah, I think that works. Okay, cool. We got that resolved. So let's go back to governing bastions. A bastion can issue orders to other bastions and settlements by expanding bastion points to establish a franchise for bastions or to establish, to gain control, to maintain control, to sustain control of a bastion. A bastion can a bastion with the government facility described above can expend bastion points to govern bastions and settlements. A bastion with the government facility as described above, as detailed above, can expend bastion points to govern bastions and settlements. Can expend 1 bastion point per rank of target. Can expend 1 bastion point per rank of target to expend 1 bastion point per rank of target. Per rank of the target. Now, let's just do it that way. Can expend bastion points to sustain issue orders to bastions and settlements. Up to a rank equal to the rank of the facility. Let's see. Facility rank. Bastion rank. Nope, it's down there. A bastion with the governing facilities detailed above can expend bastion points to issue orders to bastions. 1 bastion point must to govern a bastion or settlement, 1 bastion point per rank, 1 bastion point per rank of governed bastion or settlement up to the rank of the facility. There is no limit to how many bastions or settlements can be governed this way. There's no limit to how many, any number of bastion points can be spent to, any number of bastion points can be spent to govern other bastions and settlements this way. Any number of bastion points can be spent to govern other bastions and settlements this way. Let's go with, let's see, governing bastions, governing other bastions. A bastion governing another. A bastion governing another. A bastion governed by another operates identically. A bastion governed by another operates identically to one. Operates the same as though the characters, the player's characters, issued them. A bastion governed by another operates the same as though the characters issued them. Issued them and has its own pool of bastion points to expend, improving facilities or sustaining as well. The governing bastion can give bastion points can expend bastion points to increase the number a governing bastion, yeah, that's the word I want to use. A governing Bastion can expend Bastion points to give a target Bastion additional points. During a Bastion turn. There is no limit to how many degrees. There is no limit to how many degrees of bastions governing bastions. There is no limit to how many bastions can govern. To how many bastions. There is no limit to how many bastions can govern other bastions. I want to word that differently. Bastions governed by other bastions can themselves govern other bastions. Up. And a bastion can expend all its bastion points to only improve the government facility and expend the remaining number of bastion points to govern a growing number of multiple bastions as a hey Steve, how you doing? So let's see. A governing bastion can expend bastion points to give a target bastion additional points during a bastion turn. Bastions governed by other bastions. That's a separate thought. And ever play Hyperborea? I'm aware of it, but no, I have not actually played it. I think it's a double 20 system, isn't it? Is that Genesis system? Or is that a stacking dice pool system that like you roll a d6, a d8, d10, etc. I know I'm pretty sure it's one of those two. So bastions governed by other bastions can themselves govern other bastions, and a bastion can expend all of its bastion points only to simply improve the government facility and expend the rest on governing more bastions, having each bastion specialize in specific tasks. To specialize in specific orders, such as a grand library may focus solely on archives, scriptorums, reliquaries, arcane studies on archives, libraries, on our lerps, on libraries, archives, scriptorums, reliquaries, and arcane studies to focus on research, while also governing another bastion that focuses on with facilities like workshop, laboratory, laboratory, armory, smithy, workshop, laboratory, armory, smithy, and guild halls to focus on crafting and empowering items. Bastion must sustain a number of bastion points equal to the franchises are separate bastions that the governing bastion can issue orders to. Don't need that. This should actually be filling the role to create a complication. This information should technically be in the sabotage section, because that's actually sabotage. Stealing control of a bastion or settlement is sabotage. And then we'll go to governing settlements, governing other bastions, and governing settlements. Perfect. Let's go down to the bastion conflict section real quick. Sieges and sabotage, attacking and defending. We should probably add more detail into the sabotage section because there's a lot you can do with it. But like performing a political coup, like overtaking somebody, like even a political race, like a political campaign, could be framed around the incumbent is the defending bastion, while the rival candidate is sieging the political party or the campaign platform of the incumbent. And so you can use the same combat mechanics that we already have for bastion conflicts and frame it around like a corporate takeover, like taking over members of the board in a merchant's guild, or like replacing parliament members. So you can do this the same way. You can also frame it as like character assassination or reputation damage, like making fun of somebody or boycotting them or whatever. You can deal like quote unquote reputation damage that can be expressed as bastion points just as easily. And like it's become so hostile working here that I quit, and now you don't have any smiths. Your smithy doesn't run anymore because the bastion points that you took away in that reputation assassination sort of effort, you targeted the smithy, so you can't do metalworks anymore. You've disabled that. Like if you knew that Sauron was going to make the One Ring, you'd probably want to fuck around with his laboratory, his smithy, his armory, and his workshop. Knock all that shit down so he can't make any rings of power. Like that, and then he tries to hold you off as he builds the rings, unable to give his full attention to you. Who knows? You know, like the Middle Earth that never was. But so that's the idea that's there. So we'll probably come back and we'll play with this some more later, I'm sure. Let's see, settlements. Oh yeah, and then there's armies. We gotta address that. And then Bastion, conflict, siege, and sabotage. That feels pretty good. Hey Fox, how you doing? So yeah, bastions are really simple. You just spend a number of bastion points to establish control of another bastion. If it's hostile to the effort, then you have to lay siege on it or sabotage it to have a hostile takeover one way or the other, either through siege or sabotage to establish yourself as the authority over the bastion. But it could be a friendly merger. So depending on, like, that could be the reward of like a mid or high level tier adventure. Like an 11th level adventure, they might not have enough. They don't have 80,000 gold to give you the amount of gold that you should appropriately have at that level, but they could give you a third rank bastion that with 8. Well, it would have more than 8 points, but like they could give you like an 80,000 gold. So that'd be 28. Yeah, they could give you control of like a town as a reward. Like you should govern this town. We want to follow your lead, and this settlement has 28 bastion points associated with it, which is worth 80,000 gold. So as the reward, your character, instead of worrying about getting piles of gold, you're being given facilities or bastions or small settlements or deeds to these different locations that again are either just structures or settlements with multiple structures and citizens and stuff like that, residents. Those directly translate into gold piece values that you can then convert your campaign from accumulating too much gold to kingdom building. You're slowly knitting these different regions together in your hex crawl to establish this kingdom, this domain that you're developing. And then as you keep pushing out the domain, that gives your characters reason to do like scouting hex crawl type activities. And then once they bump into another community, another settlement of some sort, then you're engaging with that other settlement at the bastion level. Where like, are we establishing trade with these people, or are we trying to sabotage or take them over and swallow them, take control of them and pull them into our own domain? How do you like, however you want to approach that, how are you going to do it? And that can be translated through these different tools that we've been building with this Bastion campaign, which I'll need to lay out some scenarios as samples of how this workflow works. But it's super fucking fun. I like it anyway. I think it's super cool. So, this Wednesday, my chances of my team listening to this is pretty low. So I'm going to say, if anyone from Lunchtime Adventures is listening, go ahead and shut up and bug out. But I don't expect you to be here. So for the rest of the internet, the current adventure we're having right now is some sort of gravitational anomaly happened in the asteroid belt where they're mining, and it caused their rig ship to become disabled, like the hauler. It's been disabled. Their miners are stranded on the rock that they were digging on. It was I think it's a platinum rock that they're working on. And there's a weird gravitational disturbance happened. So now there's asteroids falling out of orbit and the projections are guessing that it's going to damage, who would expect, their main rivals, the nation of Droam right now. So if this goes badly for them and they can't do something to stop the asteroids from falling out of orbit, they are going to basically be accused by their main rivals of purposefully sabotaging them. But they can't do anything about the asteroids until they get the cargo rig, the cargo ship back up and running, so it'll have enough mass to help try to correct the comets. So that's what their Bastion turn is this week. Is they're sending characters up in fighter mecha to find out what happened to this rig and what's going on with the atmospheric what's going on with the gravity disturbance. Well, when they get there, there's basically a wormhole that's opened up, and it hold the ship. So they have to spend time. They now have to figure out, do we want to check out the wormhole and what's going on with that and what kind of gravity things is it doing? Or do we want to spend our time making sure that we protect the ship so it gets repaired? It's being attacked by creatures basically like space rust monsters that want to eat the ship. So they have to repair the ship and chase off the rust monsters, make sure they stay away while they're basically flying around their Veritech fighter craft. And once they get the ship back up and running, they can then go pick up all the miners that are stranded on the asteroid, and then they can get to work on taking care of the asteroids. And their reward for doing that is, let's go check out this portal. This portal is going to send them out into orbit, like way out of orbit, in a completely unclaimed space, like part of space that's at the far end of the asteroids, where really high-end materials at like dragon crystals, like dragon shards 2 miles tall, pure bricks of adamantium. It just hasn't worked its way down of orbit to get to them yet. And some of the bigger organizations grab these things up in these outer reaches before a low-class guild. The team is only 3rd ranked guild right now with 11th level characters, so they can't compete against Droam as an entire nation. They can just pick little pieces of it. So you can break a nation down into city-states, into wards, into divisions, into a specific stronghold, and it has this this Russian doll, like this cascading bastion effect of, you start off with like this 5th ranked government. It's the nation of Droam, the Medusa Queens, all that stuff going on. And then you've got like the Gargoyle faction and the Troll faction and the Goblinoid, or like the Greenskin faction and the Human faction. So you have all these different factions, which are subgroups inside the government that are unto themselves their own bastions. That then you have like the 13 clans of gargoyles that breaks down into separate bastions. And you just look at the Stone Scrapers, that tribe specifically. It's like a 3rd ranked guild. It's like a 3rd ranked tribe. So it has it has up to a population of up to 10,000 gargoyles in it, and it would normally cover an area of 50 miles. So it has governance over this one region of space that it's in charge of patrolling and mining. Well, they defected, so they moved. They incorporated with the team, but they could only take some of them because at the time they were only 2nd rank, and they couldn't absorb the entire tribe. But now that they've gained a rank, if they continue building their relations with the gargoyles as a race, as a people, then they can eventually claim the entire 3rd rank of the entire Stone Scrapers. But the Stone Scrapers don't necessarily want to do that. They might be indifferent to it, or at this point they might actually be hostile to the idea, depending on how well the player's been taking care of the gargoyles that they've already claimed. So that then becomes a task. Are we going to be able to easily fold the rest of the Stone Scrapers into our guild, or are we going to fail the Bastion check and create a conflict where they're not just willing to come along, they need to be convinced? So then the players have to go out as an envoy to communicate with the tribe, with the tribal leaders, to say, what does it take for the Stone Scrapers to jump on board with this wholehearted? Well, anyway, right now they're dealing with this wormhole that's going to kick them way out in orbit. So they're going to be fighting shit that's way above their level, but they're going to have, because currently they're being choked on like where they can expand to gain more resources. Well, this wormhole happened, so if you can stabilize it and keep it, then you'll be able to use this as a place to open up new territories. But they're going to be incredibly dangerous for your characters because they outrank you. So like they're 11 level characters. Like this is like CR 15, CR 18, 22, like super high level shit. Like you won't be out here until level 16, 17, or like 15 plus. Like that's where this is appropriate for. But I'm opening up that space for them to tease them about it. So and it's on the other side. It's the other side of another organization. So they're basically worm hopping through a whole nother nation to get to this spot. So they haven't interacted with that nation yet. Sarlona, it's the Dreamers. So they'll be starting to interact with Sarlona, and that's when they're going to find out that most of the power that that this nation has gained in orbit as a result of the stuff that they did as players in the last campaign. So they're going to start witnessing the fallout of their last campaign in this campaign when they worm hop over to the outskirts of Sarlona and start bumping into them. They're going to start picking up information. It's like, wait a second. And if they're savvy, they'll pick up on it. I'm not going to point it out to them. I'm just going to start laying hints and nuggets and reference points, and they'll eventually start connecting dots. Hey, are these the same? And then they're going to start meeting rivals inside of there, like inside of Sarlona, that will be reflected in shit that they did in the last campaign. It's going to be fun. It's going to be super fucking fun. I'm very excited about that. Anyway, that was a tangent. Right, because I was talking about the stone scrapers and stuff like that. Anyway, so we're looking at governing settlements. So governing other bastions, very simple. All you gotta do is just up to your, like if it's a third rank bastion, you have to also be third rank, and you have to dump in 3 points to sustain control of that bastion. It's only 3 points. It's pretty fucking cheap. But for every bastion that you take, that you govern, that's basically one less facility you can develop for yourself. So like, do we want to stay lean and tight with a very small amount of facilities for ourselves, and then start branching out and having governance over these other bastions that they can then specialize as well? And then if you're if you're building a settlement, then each hex that you're going into, you're basically claiming control of that hex. And if you establish a new settlement, and like 3 hexes over, we're going to put a new village, so let's start building there. While you're now investing bastion points into that first rank settlement, that hamlet that's going to develop eventually into its own town. So that's the progression. So that's what we're weaving our way through. It all works the same though. So you can spend all of your bastion points on just simply governing other bastions and settlements without actually having any facilities of your own. And like a Spelljammer campaign could be established that way. Like your ship is your main bastion, and maybe you have like a workshop or a garden or something like that on board. But most of your bastion points are spent networking different locations in different systems, or on different planets inside the same system, to be able to gather resources or to build things for you, or to be a military strong point for whatever it is that your campaign's doing. So your mothership, your flagship becomes the governor of all these different locations, and like the Elven fleets in the Inhuman Wars, the Elven armadas, the 500-foot carrier butterflies, like that had basically it had gunner crew, it had hangar bays, it had armory, workshop, and then bastions. Just nothing but bastions commanding other fleets, fortresses that they establish on different rocks, wherever it is, whatever. They have all these different strong points, and then the greenskins would do the same. The ogre mammoth were the 500-foot carrier ships for all the goblin blades, and so they would have similar facilities, but all their governance went into different orc strongholds, right, and other fleets of mammoth ships and stuff like that. So Spelljammer works fantastic with this system. I'm really looking forward to using this in the Storm King's Thunder playtest campaign we're going to do for the martial for the mecha, the Spelljammer mecha, like war golems and kaijus. Basically, I want to say mecha, but it's off-brand for D&D, so it'd be war golems and kaijus, basically. But that's what we're building. So this feeds into Storm King's Thunder. Will be our flagship, and we'll have facilities in there like an armory, a smithy, a workshop, a hangar for repairing fighter craft and mecha war golems specifically, and like a helm, a bridge. It'd be so we'll have to build some custom facilities for spell jamming and for war golem construction. But it's so easy for us to build facilities now that if there's not one that just automatically fills the bill that we want, we just give it a name and then pick 3 things that we think are cool, and there's your facility. Make it grow, because all those rules are already inside of here. Anyway, so bastions can build out their own bastions inside of it. So you could have like your mothership, your flagship, and it has bastion over other lesser flagship, other similar armada, like the flagship butterfly in the Elven Armada fleet. could have governance over like 6 other butterflies. So there's like 6 wings of the army, pardon the pun, and each armada ship, like armada class butterfly, would be the flagship for that specific fleet. So, but there would be the one main flagship that issues commands to the other 6 fleets through their moths. So, anyway, so you can structure fleets and squadrons of ships like you would for establishing bastions, because one type of bastion is armies. Armies are mobile bastions that have to follow all the same rules as bastions do, but instead of them being bound to one position or inside of a structure, they don't have any facilities at all. It's just people, the size of your army, and whatever supply chain you establish to be able to connect with your resources outside of it. So armies are like a modified form of a bastion, where the larger the bastion, the more people are in the army, but it has to be fed supplies by other bastions, or it has to raid settlements and steal bastion points from them in the form of food and sundries. So you can wage war on a 24-mile grid, square by square, day by day, by establishing your army as a bastion that's currently occupying this hex. And look, there's another bastion there's a settlement 2 hexes away. We're going to go attack it. Well, that settlement's going to send out an army to try to repel you. So on the hex between where you're at right now and where the settlement is at, an army is heading your way. You're going to have to engage that using the conflict mechanics that we have. But it basically works just like Civilization 5, 6, 7, whatever. Like Sid Meier's Civilization. I'm a big Civ 5 fan. I love the 4X game systems like that, and this is inspired. It's partially inspired by that. So that's the idea. Super simple. It's just basically a small hit point pool, and the damage that you deal scales up with the number of orders given and the rank of the army, as though it were a bastion, rolling a d4, d6, d8, d10, d12 with a plus 1 to 5 depending on your rank. That's how much damage you're dealing. And you have 0 from 1 to 9 is first rank, from 10 to 19 is second rank, from 20 to 29 is third rank, from 30 to 39 is fourth rank, and then 40 plus points is fifth rank armies. So as you deal damage to the enemy, you're taking away bastion points, and every time they drop 10 points from one rank to the next, they shed that many soldiers from 40,000 to if we were looking at populations here, it'd be like shedding like 100,000 down to 10,000 down to 1,000 down to 100. You're dropping them by an entire degree of impact. And so anyway, there you go. That's the idea. Because by the time you whittle down 10 of their points, you've gone from 10,000 to 9,000 to 8,000 to 6,000 to 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, and now 1,000, 900, 800, 700, 600, 500 down to 100, and then if you have less than 100, you don't have an army anymore. So it's just you rout, you scatter. So every point of damage, depending on the rank of your army, is the total the total number of troops in the army. And every point of damage that your bastion takes is representing a fraction of that scale. So at 30 points, you have 10,000. So if you lose 6 points, you'll lose 6,000, and you'll be knocked back down to second rank with 4,000 troops remaining. So super simple system. But it allows for so much narration in how you're interacting at this like geopolitical, like at this global level instead of at the character level. And again, these are all gold values that convert directly into gaining treasure or magic items and stuff like that. So your character's activities as an adventuring party completely can be converted into gathering materials as bastion points instead of gold value, depending on the level of your character is appropriate for the rank of bastion that they're able to affect. Like a third level character isn't gonna do much to impact the fate of House Demir with like 7 million participants. Like, your characters don't mean shit. But by the time you get to 17th level, when you're pulling in like 250,000 gold pieces per adventure, supposedly, that's literally a bastion point. Those are bastion points. Like, yeah, your effect is giving House Demir this many more resources. Thank you for what you do. Have another point of renown. That kind of thing. So anyway, I'm pontificating, and that's what I love to do. So let's wind our way back through. Governing other bastions, governing settlements. Settlements are populated locations that are considered to be a facility. Settlements are populated locations that are governed by that are how do I want to say this? Let's go back up here and look at this real quick. A bastion governed by another bastion operates the same as other characters issued them. Okay. Settlements are populated locations that operate as similar to bastions. Settlements are populated locations that operate similar. No, they don't. Settlements are populated locations that can support are populated locations that facilities that bastions and there it is that bastions and facilities can be constructed and improved. Settlements are populated locations where bastions and facilities can be constructed and improved. In addition, there are unique orders that can only there are orders in addition some orders and facility benefits can only some orders and facility benefits require a settlement as described, as detailed further below. There can be only one governing bastion, a settlement. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Let's actually reallocate that. Let's shift this down here. We'll put this down here in conflicting governments. A bastion and bastions and settlements. Bastions and settlements can be governed by only one bastion at a time. Can be governed by only one bastion at a time. If the current governing bastion is contested, this becomes the challenging Bastion must attempt sabotage to oust the current governing Bastion. The current, Bastion as detailed below. There we go. So now I can just shunt more language down into the sabotage section. Trying to minimize what needs to be said here now. A governing Bastion must maintain a lifestyle for the settlement independently of the Bastion itself, using the Bastion die for the rank of the settlement listed above. The lifestyle can be sustained as detailed above, similar to sustaining a lifestyle for Bastion. Oh, that's right. A governing Bastion must maintain a lifestyle for the settlement independently of the Bastion. Okay, maintaining equals. There it is. This is what we need to do. Maintaining a lifestyle for the settlement. Let's see. Similar to sustaining a lifestyle maintaining a lifestyle in a Bastion as detailed above. A settlement can similarly a settlement must also issue the maintain order to establish a minimum of poor lifestyle for the settlement to remain intact. For the settlement, that's not their wording. For the residents to remain in the settlement. The governing Bastion points can be expended to sustain the lifestyle as detailed in issuing orders above, but any but this how to word this okay, yeah, right. A minimum of poor lifestyle for residents to remain in the settlement. Bastion points can be expended to sustain the lifestyle as detailed in issuing orders above. But residents and bastions Hold on. Similar to maintaining a lifestyle in a bastion as detailed above, a settlement must also issue the maintain order to establish a minimum, to establish a lifestyle. To establish a lifestyle for the residents to remain, for the residents, period. If the with a minimum of poor, the minimum of a poor lifestyle required to remain to retain residents. There we go. Bastion points can be expended to sustain the lifestyle as described in issuing orders above. Here we go down here. This lifestyle only represents the relative level of safety in the community, in the settlement, but it doesn't establish the lifestyle of the residents in the settlement. Each resident is required. Each resident must each resident and bastion is responsible for establishing its own lifestyle. I'm going to make a note here. However, a governing bastion can improve facilities such as barracks. A governing bastion can, how do I want to put this? However, a governing bastion can provide, can maintain a lifestyle for residents and bastions within by expending bastion points to sustain a life, an established lifestyle for each individually. Each individually. Let's go up. Let's go up and look at barracks real quick. Barracks. You can issue a recruit order to hire a number of CR after to defend the bastion. Oh, that's right. We want to go down to the recruit order. Orders. Craft. We want recruit. Recruit. So, for example, 4th rank, let's go third. Third rank's good. A 3rd rank Bastion can house up to 400 soldiers. So if we were to translate that into a settlement, oh shit, that's expensive. A 3rd rank town can have a population up to 10,000. So 10,000 divided by 400 equals 25 times 3 points each. It requires 75 bastion points for a government to provide enough housing and resources and like food and sundries, etc., to feed and like communist style take care of everybody inside of it's 10,000 people in a town max before it becomes a city, and so 400 people is the cap for a 3rd rank. So a 3rd rank town requires a 3rd rank government, which can have at best a 3rd rank barracks, which can at most house 400 people. So there's 25 of those. You would need 25 of those barracks as like communal homes inside of your government, inside of the settlement, to be properly governed as everyone is taken care of. And to do that, I would need to have 25 barracks for 3 points each, which is 75 bastion points, and that is before I then have to layer on the lifestyle above that, and I have to spend at least 1 point. So I would have 75 points to establish the housing and the infrastructure for 10,000 people, and then on top of that, just to maintain a poor lifestyle, I have to spend another 25 bastion points, because it's 25 facilities, barracks, and a poor lifestyle is the floor. It's 1 bastion point. So I would have to permanently lock 100 bastion points to be able to guarantee a poor lifestyle for an entire community of 10,000 people in a town. That's enough to make me a 5th rank guild, a 5th rank organization, without the burden of having a settlement. So if I had that many resources available, maybe I would want a smaller settlement that I could more easily provide a higher level of population. And now you start to see why cities have people that are poor and people that are rich, because the city can only guarantee a baseline level of safety as its order. Keep the peace. Like, the order is keep the peace. It's just maintaining a bare minimum lifestyle. There's not orcs attacking people's homes at night. This place is at least poor lifestyle or better. And then as you go to different areas of communities, you can go to the high district, where everyone has a minimum of at least a wealthy lifestyle, because they, as a collective, homeowners association, have all pooled their points into a government that is maintaining a minimum wealthy level lifestyle in this kind of community. It is nice here. It's just nice. But for you to be a part of that community, you also have to maintain a wealthy lifestyle alongside it. So it has a barrier of entry. So you can see, like, while attempting like a communist style collective or a socialist collective that's providing a lifestyle, housing, food, all that stuff for all the residents in the community, in the settlement, not counting transients, just in the settlement, actual residents, again, it's 100 points just for a town. That is a ridiculous amount of points. So they can't afford to do that. They would love to be able to provide housing and food and education and security to everybody, but the best that they can do right now is just to make sure that the monsters stay out. What you do with that opportunity is going to be on you, and God bless you. So, like, there you go. That's how this mechanic works. And it actually does. It's so fucking great. This system is so awesome. Like, you can put math, like you can math your way into, like, how does this system work? Like, well, let's figure out the bastion points and the ranks and stuff and figure it out from there. And it totally fucking works. I love that. I love that about this. So, like, this is the power of the 5e game engine. This is what you can do with a d20 and proficiency dice. It's fucking insane. It is fucking insane how awesome this, just how good of an engine 5e really is. So now that I'm done geeking out, we've established governing other bastions. No, we'll go through there. Governing settlements. Settlements are populated. Are populated locations. We're passing. Oh, that's right. We were messing around with maintain lifestyle for a settlement. So, someone to maintain a lifestyle in a bastion as detailed above. A settlement must also issue the maintain order. Let's go with a town equals 10k equals third rank. Third rank barracks equals 400 beds. Town, 10k town equals 25 third rank barracks equals 75 bastion points to sustain. Minimum lifestyle to sustain is 1 BP for poor lifestyle for 25 barracks equals 25 bastion points. A town, a third rank town with a population of 10,000, of 10k, requires 100 bastion points to sustain a poor lifestyle for every resident. Whether if they don't generate any, if they are completely reliant on the government, on the governing bastion, such as an army. Why don't you see armies of 10,000? Because they're fucking expensive. You don't have to maintain for an army of 10,000. If you're only third rank, you don't have to sustain 25 barracks for them while they're on the road. You just have to maintain a lifestyle. But the shittier a lifestyle you sustain for your army while they're on the road, the worse their morale is going to be, the easier it is going to be to sabotage them. If you have a poor lifestyle for your troops, and instead of taking them on head to head in an actual land war, if instead you sabotage their supply chain, if you poison the well that they only have one fucking well, they're poisoned, or like if somehow you pollute their meat so they get dysentery or something, you can sabotage the army because they're maintaining a shitty lifestyle. So the difficulty to overcome them is going to be really easy. You need to have a good lifestyle while your army is on the road so they have a chance of maintaining morale to get to where they're supposed to be and do this stuff. It's like the difference between slave soldiers and the Sardaukar terror troops in Dune. Like, they're gods. They have their own planet. Like, they have their own pleasure planets when they're between missions. Like, they're treated like gods in their own world, and the price they pay for that is go kill things good. But that kind of lines up with like this lifestyle versus army system. So hey, what's up? How many dragon nests do you have to crack to buy a legion? Yeah, no, exactly, right? Exactly. And so you can look at the treasure trove of a dragon and what CR is it for what kind of treasure trove it'll have in its lair. and you can convert that directly into Bastion points that can be fed into an army. So if you want to look up in the DMG what a ancient red dragon, its dragon trove, what its treasure trove would be in its lair, I think it gets quadruple treasure if it's in a lair, something like that. It's in there, but yeah, you can look that up, and then we can look at how much gold are you supposed to get for that level of an encounter, and then we'll just look at the gold value, and if it's like a CR 23, it's probably going to be something like 200,000 gold. It'd probably be something like after 4 troves, it'll probably easily be 200,000, which would be at 4th rank. That'd be 2 Bastion points. 4th rank would be like a 15th up to 16th level characters, which could be reasonable for a CR 23 fight, honestly. By the time your character's at 17th level, they're going to be fighting like CR 32 stuff, which is like 500,000 gold a drop. So like basically every 2 battles, you could gain a Bastion point for a 5th rank. For a 5th rank Bastion, a 5th rank Bastion literally needs 1 million gold pieces of value. Like it's that massive. But it also takes, like, if you want to convert that Bastion point into gold, you could, but it would literally take you a year to find somebody who is capable of doing it, and then you'd have to hit a DC 30 to avoid any complications. Unlikely. You've got like a 1 in 5 chance after a year of effort of making that click in. If you have a complication, it could take an additional year to figure it out. So, it takes time, man. It takes time to digest treasure. It takes time, and you have to have a big place to do it. You can't just take a treasure trove and go to a hamlet and burn through 600,000 gold in a weekend. A hamlet just simply doesn't know. You would be paving the entire town in gold. Like, it doesn't know what to do with it. Anyway, those are problems. But the math works out. The math legit works out. 3rd rank town, the population of 10k requires 100 Bastion points to sustain the total lifestyle of every resident if they are completely if they rely on the governing. If they rely on the governing Bastion for survival. There's that. So that's maintain lifestyle. Yeah. That's legit. Harvest is still legit. Recruit is legit. You can issue the recruit. You can issue the recruit order to attract additional residents to increase to attract. This is basically expending resources and orders on importing migrants. There's odd parallels that we could be drawn in America or in Europe as well, where there's amazing amounts of resources being expended to open up borders and to facilitate people crossing the border. This is rampant in Europe and has been in America as well. Apparently, Canada is the only place where people are getting through right now in the United States. So it's very easy. If you hear some of the numbers that they're talking about, I'm not a political guy, but if you listen to the numbers that they're throwing around in the multi billions of dollars of funding people that are arriving at the border to then be pulled into the interior of the nation and provided for while they get established. We've already seen how ridiculous that could be with this, like the amount of money that we're talking about being shelled out in an economy to be able to fund that sort of activity. We literally just saw it here a moment ago with just how easily we could break this down. And if we just scale up into the millions, you can see how this could become hundreds of billions of dollars expended over the course of years to import millions of people. So it just makes sense. So recruiting, it's technically a recruiting task to bring people in. So you can issue the recruit order to attract additional residents to increase the population, roll a Bastion check, and compare the results to the DC of the current rank of the settlement. If the roll fails, the population doesn't increase and a complication occurs. If the roll succeeds, the population increases by the listed amount of the rank for the rank of settlement. The time required to carry out this order is determined by the current rank. When the population reaches the listed max, the settlement increases to the next rank. Gains enough resources, gains enough bastion points. The settlement can increase to the next rank. When the bastion has an appropriate enough bastion points. Like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna put this down underneath it because that seems like the right way to do this. Here. When the population reaches the listed max, the settlements can increase to the next rank, can increase in rank. The fifth. When the bastion has enough bastion points. If the population exceeds the max for the rank of the settlement, each bastion turn that the population exceeds the max of the rank of the settlement, a complication occurs, and the lack of facilities, the lack of and the excess population complication occurs, and the number of and the bad wording. The overpopulation forms a rival bastion to contest the current governing bastion. So if you bring in too many people and you can't support it, they rebel. And then they start to take on the currently standing government. They'll probably be smaller, so will probably fail unless you drastically over-import too quickly. But yeah, there you go. Let's see. If a bastion, a settlement that gains more, a settlement that increases rank without increasing population. Can experience let's see, a settlement that increases rank without increasing population doesn't automatically increase a settlement that increases rank without increases a settlement that increases rank increases the number of residents that can be governed, but unless the recruit order is issued specifically to attract new residents, they don't naturally arrive unless the Bastion event unless a Bastion event specifies otherwise. Is issued to specifically to attract number of residents that can be governed. Okay, a settlement that I'm going to change how this is worded. A settlement that increases rank also doesn't automatically increase the number of residents unless the recruit order is issued check new residents, period. Some results of a Bastion event roll as detailed below can result in migrants arriving new residents arriving, whether they can be governed or not, potentially adding additional bastions to the settlement if they can be accommodated, or creating a rival bastion that challenges the current governing bastion if they can't. So that's how that works. So we'll be going over, once we finish this section, we'll be going back through the Bastion events, and now we know we definitely need to make sure that we're integrating refugees, migrants, and stuff like that, which is actually already weaved into the Bastion system. So that is one of the default actions that could occur. So let's go investigate that real quick and earmark them real fast. Bastion events. Also forces sabotage facilities, visiting NPCs pursued by significant threats. For settlements, this is added residents. This adds residents. So that we might end up breaking this up between bastions. We might have settlement events and bastion events specifically that are separate. So they're framing differently. We'll see how that shakes out. But I want them to be relatively the same. Just like I want them to be parallel to each other. So we'll either fold them in, if we can, we'll fold them into the same event list. Or if it's more prudent, we'll separate them into bastion and settlements. Armies, bastions, and settlements, perhaps. I was originally going to call this system In Command of Armies, Guilds, and Kingdoms. But then they created the Bastion system. So I'm going to hold on to In Command of Armies, Guilds, and Kingdoms for myself for my own for my Guild Delver RPG. And then we're using similar ideas, just different mechanics for the 5e DMG system. The Guild Delver book it's a sort of D20 game. It's a D20 with proficiency dice as well, but it's more like Numenera than D&D. But it's a very similar game engine. Like the way that ability checks work and stuff like that. It's similar, but yeah, it's more like Numenera scale of 1 to 10, and that's how you're targeting things than the D&D DC system. So it's different, but the same. And the Bastion points in that system are permanently spent. You're either locking things in by like basically tapping Bastion points to sustain like a location or a facility or something, or you're permanently burning. We call them resources. You permanently burn resources to like equip your party with magic gear and equipment and weapons and spells and scrolls and stuff like that. Like it has an inventory that you're spending your resources on. You permanently spend them when you do that, but you only use them for that mission. But you also pull in new resources every turn. So you're filling your well with resources, and then you're spending them by either like purchasing expensive properties for like right now, like properties that they want to get for additional territories to increase their mining operation. It costs them 9 points a piece. It's like but they'll get anywhere from 0 to 10 points a piece per plot of land that they mine, depending on what rank they are and how valuable the minerals are in the asteroids that they're mining right now. So they're pulling it like last Bastion turn, they pulled in 11 Bastion points or 11 resources, and they spent 9 of them on a new territory, and that left only 2 points left over. So they purchased some spell scrolls and inspiration dice, rerolls. They purchased reroll. Everyone gets an inspiration point every session. That cost them 1 resource. So they just burn that resource. They'll never get that one back. And they also burn another point for them to get a stack of healing potions. So it wasn't scrolls, it was healing potions. Yeah, they got a stack of healing potions. And that was all the Bastion, that was all their points. They're now out of points again. But they could sell off one of their territories to get anywhere from 1 to 9 points at any given time. But that also reduces the amount of territory they have to mine asteroids. So they have to spend Bastion points to purchase the deed to different plots of space where asteroids are floating. And then once they have that deed, they have the right to go in there and start mining the asteroids for minerals. And depending randomly what kind of minerals are inside those rocks determines how valuable they are and the CR of monsters that they might have to fight if there are monsters present. So it also, like the higher value minerals, the more likely it is that there's going to be like poachers and pirates. They're going to try to steal it from you because it's worth it. Now, as opposed, iron's not worth it. Iron's worthless. Copper, why would I bother? It's going to cost me more to get there than I'm going to get back. No, you're mining adamantine. If I can take that from you, that's worth a fortune. So like they have to worry about pirate raiding. So they have fighter ship anyway. Yeah, all sorts of cascading stuff. But yeah, we have it in here once. That's all I need. So we have it referenced so we can get back to it. We're looking at creating structures. I'm going to wind my way back up here because all these orders. There it is. Issuing orders. Let's cap it. Issuing orders to settlements. I'm going to bump the size. A governing bastion can issue a number of unique orders to a settlement as detailed below. Maintain a lifestyle for the settlement. We just talked about that. Maintain a lifestyle, harvesting materials. Settlements can be issued. The harvest order detailed above requires a settlement to harvest material from. A settlement to harvest material from. The order is issued to the settlement and gains the facility benefits and gains any facility benefits provided by the Bastion issuing the order. The harvest the DM determines what type of materials can be harvested, period. The order is issued to the settlement and gains the harvest order detailed, period. The rank of the settlement determines how many types of materials can be harvested as listed below. 1, 2, 3. For example, a first and second rank settlement is limited to only one type of material. If the material is plant, it can represent a variety of harvestable grains, fruits, grains, and vegetables. But simply isn't enough working residents to effectively harvest other types of materials. Contrarily, a 5th rank settlement is vast enough with a large enough population to harvest a wide variety of all 3 types of materials. The DM decides what types of materials can be harvested by a settlement and how much variety there is. Though multiple smaller settlements adjacent to each other can harvest different types of material if the DM decides they are present. And then we have the recruit order again. So we already established harvesting stuff and like rarity and like gold value based on the rank, because the rank of a settlement determines the size. So these orders are in place. Looks like they're reading just fine. Okay, structures and settlements. We're going to get to that. So let's go back up here to actually governing settlements. Settlements are populated locations, are locations that are settlements are locations populated by residents where bastions and facilities can be constructed and improved. Some orders and facility benefits require a settlement as detailed further below. There can be only one governing bastion in a settlement. If there are rival bastions within governing facilities and settlements, issuing orders to settlements, maintaining a lifestyle, harvesting materials, recruit Creating structures, conflicting governments. There we go. There are rival bastions with government facilities in the same settlement. Those that are not in command that are not sustaining the lifestyle for the settlement must siege or sabotage the current governing bastion to gain command. To establish control, period. Yeah, I like that. That wording's good enough. I don't need this one. Cool. We got more settlement shit down here. Oh yeah, the cascade of sovereignty. Your character oversees a team. Your character is part of a team. Your team is part of a bastion. Your bastion is part of a settlement. The settlement is part of a territory, which is part of a world, which is part of a wild space system, which is in the Great Wheel, or somewhere in the multiverse. That's not so necessary. That's not so useful, huh? Government. Let's just grab this, because conflicting governments is a really good place for us to start branching into armies, and then yada. Settlements, settlements, settlements. Governing settlements. Let's push this down here. Settlements are locations populated by residents where bastions and facilities can be constructed and improved. Some orders and facility benefits require a settlement as detailed further below. The rank of a settlement determines its maximum population. Its maximum population and the bastion die rolled when issued an order, as indicated on the table below. Is it, maybe it's incorrect for me to include harvest up in the issuing orders? Well, I guess that just means that orders are separate. Orders is a subsection of facilities because you issue orders to facilities. Well, you issue orders to bastions through the facilities if they're capable of performing those orders. It's kind of contrived. It's kind of circular logic there, but that's part of the charm, I think, is how circular the logic is. Like, go down one tangent, you'll end up in another part of the mechanics somewhere, and you can continue diving through yourself like a Taurus. I should separate this though with a separate, because it's a separate thought. So break the line. The rank of a settlement determines its maximum population and the bastion die rolled when issued an order as indicated on the table below. Some orders and facility benefits require a settlement. Requires a settlement. Generally, a settlement operates the same as a bastion above, and some orders and facility benefits require a settlement. Period. The rank of a settlement determines the maximum population and the bastion die rolled when issuing an order as indicated on the table below. Okay. Let's see. Rank equals rank of facility, rank of settlement. Settlement equals description of the settlement. Title, general. Of that rank. That's kind of a word salad blurgle. Pop equals the maximum population of a settlement. Area rad equals the radius, the size of the settlement, the space occupied by the settlement from radius from the center of the occupied space. Growth rate equals how long, the duration of time between the duration of time to increase or decrease the population of the settlement to naturally through the recruit order, or if population, or if residents abandon the settlement. You know what? Fuck that. The duration of time to increase the population. Let's just drop the whole decrease thing, because you could have crazy things. You could have an earthquake happen, and that whole population is just going to disappear, right? So let's not be too specific about that. Die equals the bastion die rolled when the settlement is issued an order similar to a bastion. And then duration sustain. Sustain equals the duration of time the settlement can sustain a lifestyle established for the residents, which is identical to how it works in the bastions above. If you're a 5th rank bastion, it's as long as you keep those 5 points in place, you can always have a whatever lifestyle is that you roll. It'll last forever as long as you keep the points there. It's the metropolis is large enough that it sustains itself through just the sheer momentum of commerce, I guess. Or, you know, if you've built this city on not rock and roll, piety, then your community's faith in their sponsoring God, which is a very Theros sort of thing to do. Let's kick another 20 minutes. What time is it? It's 8:11. I got another 20 minutes. We can do that. That's all done. I don't need this. We're done. That's it. We have enough basic components for the settlements that it's a functioning piece of machinery. It tells you everything you need to know, and it provides a couple examples. It's far from, I mean, this is still very just mechanical drafts. This isn't using any kind of flowery language. Having a ton of examples in these sort of things would make a ton of sense, but I'm not going to do that right now. But we've just resolved settlements. So hey, what's up? Damn it, Phil. Now I am seeing I built this in. I knew I'd get you on that one. If I can get you with the Folgers jingle, I can definitely get you with that. That was planned. God bless you for being around, man. I'm glad I'm entertaining you. Face. Okay, so we've resolved bastions. We've resolved governing other bastions. We've resolved governing settlements, issuing orders of settlements. And now we have creating. Let's skip past creating structures, and let's get into armies. To create an army, the bastion must create a franchise that represents the army, which has its own pool of bastion points, rank, and lifestyle that must be maintained. One, armies are similar to bastions, but don't have a fixed location and don't have any facilities. You could have facilities by bringing them along with you, and the army itself doesn't. That would be support. That's the supply chain. Armies are similar to bastions, but don't have a fixed location and don't have any facilities to issue orders, and don't have any facilities, period. To create an army, the bastion must to create an army, a bastion must recruit soldiers as detailed above in the recruiting order. As detailed in the basic recruit order. Above. To create an army, a bastion must recruit soldiers as detailed in the basic recruit order above. The recruiting bastion these soldiers become how to do this, become a temporary become a bastion become a bastion governed by the recruiting bastion. This language is horrible. I'm going to find better language. Governed by the these soldiers become a bastion governed by the recruiting bastion by the recruiting bastion And similar to governing bastions above, must expend bastion points to maintain to sustain, let's just say, to sustain authority over the bastion, over the army. Similar to bastions and settlements above, an army must maintain a minimum of a poor lifestyle, or the troops what's the word I'm looking for? It's not defect. It's desert. Desert their posts, desert their duties, or rebel or mutiny against the commanders. We'll go with that for now. Let's see. Cost to maintain. Number of bastion points required. The number of bastion points required to sustain a lifestyle is the same as is detailed in the maintain lifestyle order above. And the governing bastion determines how long a lifestyle can be sustained without a new bastion test. Without a new bastion test, period. Let's see. Create an army, bastion attack. The army loses enough bastion points, reduces rank. That part is part of the combat system. To create an army, the bastion must create a franchise. If the army loses enough bastion points, we just said that. Recruiting and maintaining soldiers. Recruiting soldiers to attack and defend requires time to recruit and organize. Recruiting soldiers to attack or defend requires time to recruit and organize. Requires time and a sufficient population to recruit from. Minimum population. There we go. To recruit from. No, that's easier. To recruit from, period. The maximum number of troops you can maintain with one order is determined by the rank. a single bastion is determined by the rank, by its rank. Period. Army rank. As a single army, which is important because the higher rank you get, the more troops you can handle with less resources. So a 5th rank community, a 5th rank bastion recruiting, or rather an army of 10,000 requires a 5th rank bastion to muster those troops. And if I establish a poor lifestyle, it only cost me 1 bastion point for that entire 10,000 troops. But my 1 point of bastion points as a 5th rank bastion is worth 1,000,000 gold. So I can establish I can do this pretty easily. I got this. It's easy. However, a 4th rank army can have up to 4,000 troops, as you can see here. Can have up to 4,000 troops in it. So an equal sized army of 10,000 at 4th rank, I would actually have to recruit 3 separate armies, which could take me up to 12,000. But if we cap it just like 3,333, whatever each, right? Or 4,000, 4,000, 2,000. There you go. If we were to get 10,000 troops in a 4th rank guild, in a 4th rank settlement, since this cap is 4, I would have to have 3 armies. To maintain that poor lifestyle, my 4th rank army, or my 4th rank bastion has to spend 3 points for the same sized army. And those 3 points are only worth 100,000 apiece. So maybe it only takes 300,000 gold to sustain an army of 4,000 people indefinitely for a month. Maybe that math works out, maybe it doesn't. 4,000. 1 month. Poor lifestyle, it's what, 1 silver? I think it's 1 is it 1 gold per week? So for a month, that's 4,000 times 4, 16,000 gold per month. Poor lifestyle. Poor lifestyle. And then each bastion point is worth 100,000, 16,000, 100,000. Huh. That math isn't quite working out. Maybe I have my lifestyle costs wrong. Why did you just lock up? There you are. Thank you. What am I looking for specifically? I am looking for... that's right. Lifestyle, maintaining gold lifestyle. Oh, what's the daily value? I might not have it in here anymore. Oh yeah, it's not listed here. Let's go to ye olde D&D Beyond. And let's click into Player's Handbook. Services. Two SP per day. Modest is 1 gold pieces per day. Um, 4,000. Oh, Jesus, that's per day. Okay. So 4,000 troops times 30 days. That worked out. It just about worked out. Poor is technically lower than that. Divide by 5. It's 24,000, which would be 1 bastion point. So that actually tracks. At 4th rank, 4,000 troops with a poor lifestyle would require 1 bastion point. That would be 24,000 gold worth of actual lifestyle, and then 75,000 gold for all the resources to actually be able to get that lifestyle to the army, the supply chain. That actually pans out. That actually pans out identical to how the math panned out for the third rank government providing housing, a poor level lifestyle for everybody in that 10,000 person town. That math actually worked out exactly the same. 75 for the facilities and 25% for the 75% for the facilities, setting up the facilities, and then 25% of actually sustaining it with the Bastion points to sustain the lifestyle with those facilities. This is literally exactly the same as that. Just as a random fucking example. That is amazing to me. So I am very happy with that. So this Bastion point stuff is still holding its ground and earning its keep, and just random examples that we're coming up with on the spot. So maybe there's some flaws here and there perhaps, but just spot checking this, the math checks out enough that people can probably just eyeball it and be like, yeah, okay. So I don't have to worry about it. Okay. Okay. And this would literally be the same because that's 1/10 the value. That's 1/10 the value, and then it's only a quarter of the value. But you're dealing with so many people at this level. You can't sustain a lifestyle if you're a first rank Bastion, because your Bastion turn rotation is weekly, which is the duration of a turn. So you spend the point to sustain a lifestyle that you're gonna have to reroll next week anyway. Save yourself the point, just make your rolls, or get your shit up to 10 so you can have at least a month worth of stable lifestyle as a second rank Bastion. Like, that's why you want to grow, to stabilize that income for your population, whether residents or hirelings. You want to sustain that lifestyle for them as long as you can to help lock them in place if you plan on keeping it. So yeah. Rally troops to attack rivals. This is combat stuff, so this goes back down into the conflict area, which we already have. What, here? Oh no, this was back when we were still calling attacks recruiting. That's right, we replaced that. Okay, cool, we fixed that. Some bastions and settlements. When the lifestyle, when a new bastion test is required to establish a new lifestyle for the army. Number, if the level of lifestyle decreases, roll one complication, roll a number of complications, roll a number of complications equal to how many levels of lifestyle are lost. If the lifestyle drops below poor, an additional complication occurs. So we might have to have like army complications because something can happen. Like you're camping out and you're doing all this stuff on the road or whatever, and something happens. So now you got to deal with it. Like your supply chain breaks down and you haven't had food arrive in the past few days and you're running out of food or stuff like that. So we might have to have a separate list of complications that armies can experience, that settlements can experience, and that bastions can experience. Maybe we need to do that. Maybe we don't. But this is technically all the information that we need right now to make armies work. We already established that it's the same thing as before. It's just you're establishing a lifestyle. You don't have any facilities. We talk about down below how you expend orders to have your army attack in a siege. So that's taken care of separately here in the Bastion Conflict section. So we have the first draft rough of governing bastions and settlements now established. I'm sure we'll find holes as we go, but for now it's good, which means we've succeeded at our primary task for the day. We've cleared settlements. They're done for now. Just like everything else, they're done for now. Armies is done. This is all done. So now we've already resolved the conflicts from last time. And that will also need additional work, obviously, but we'll get to it in time. And, oh, wait, the one thing that we didn't get to was creating structures and settlements. So structures can be constructed in settlements. The value of the structure determines the craft EC and duration to construct as detailed in the issuing general orders section above. Value of the structure is bump, 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 and then DC is bump, 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 and then the rank required to be able to accomplish that is bump, 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 which means you would have to have, like, you can't create, like, for example, a large castle valued at 500,000. I love this. A large castle, like just trolling the DMG, right? A large castle valued at 500,000 gold pieces can be constructed within a metropolis. That is, sorry, I should word that as valued at 500,000 gold pieces. That is constructed within a metropolis, requires 3 bastion turns across 3 years. It's 200,000. 500 divided by 200,000 is round up 3. The duration of something of this magnitude is 1 year, and it must be created inside of a settlement of this size. This is the size of the settlement to be able to benefit from this scale. I could attempt to build a large castle literally out in the middle of nowhere, but it is going to take a lot longer to complete. So I don't want to build a castle in the middle of nowhere. I want to build a small lookout tower or like a small keep or something very small and simple in comparison. So this tells me I want to dive down into structures, value, rank, because we have, these aren't in the new 5e24 books, but they're still in the 514 books, and I still have access to them, so let's go. Making shit is downtime activity. Building a stronghold, how convenient. So, it'll probably be easier for me to do it this way. Keep estate, noble estate, noble manor, post. Fort. Okay, well, apparently we're going to open up some space here. Yep. Yep. Palace. Large. Castle. Temple. Fortified. Tower. Trading post. Abbey value 50K. Guild Hall 5K. Small keep 50K. Noble Manor 25K. Outpost Fort 15K. Palace 500K. Temple 50K. Fortified Tower is 15K. Trading Post 5K. Yeah, fuck it. Let's just do it like that. 50K DC. Let's put our price matrix down here real quick. We should know this by now, right? 100, 400, 4,000, 40,000, 200K plus. Three, four, five. So this is third. That's a 20. Fifth rank. 30. Keep 30. 25 is 25. 15 is also 25. 500K is 30. Temple 50K is also 30. Fortified Tower is 40K. That feels too high. I don't like how high these numbers are. And then 5K. It's DC's 15. No, fuck you. It's still it's 20 fucking 5. These numbers are not skewing well with buildings. So I need to rethink this. How do I not make it about the money? My music stopped. I think I outlasted my music selection. I sure did. Okay, this is the last thing we have to do, and then we're done for the day. And then when we come back next week, we'll be working on Bastion events and complications. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. How do we noodle this out? Maybe I can break this down. Thinking about parsing. Like a 5th rank. So if I'm looking at this, like a 5th rank organization, like a 5th rank guild that's creating like a Mason's Guild, a 5th rank Mason's Guild that's constructing this castle would make a check every year and can process 200,000 gold per year. Meanwhile, a 4th rank Mason's Guild can process 40,000 gold each season, which is 160,000 per year. A 3rd rank guild, 3rd rank stonemasons guild, would be able to construct 4,000 gold per month, which would be 48,000 per year, or only 12k per season. And then it just gets ridiculously low. Like 100k per week for a 1st rank guild to build a trading post of 5,000 gold. How long? How long would it take? It'd be 50 weeks to build a trading post. That feels way too long. That doesn't make sense. I don't know, man. Maybe less than 10 people building an entire trading post. There's I'm feeling a disconnect, and I want to make sure I can connect those dots. Building a castle in Metropolis in 1 year, that takes 3 years, and it takes like, hold on. Yeah, the construction time for creating a large castle is 1,200 days, which is for about 4 years. We bring it in about 3 years. So our system is actually a little bit faster at this scale. If I just had a maybe that's the solution. No, yeah. This is just the crafting rules. We can use the same scale of operation. So if I only want to make 1 check per year and I only have to make 3 checks in total, that DC is going to be 30 and potentially arise a complication. But I could choose instead, as a 5th rank guild, as a 5th rank Bastion with my D12 plus 5, I could instead choose to make a check every season, and I would have to 40k. That'd be 10. It'd be 13 seasons that way, which would be, instead of 3 years, it'd be 3 years and an extra season. But I'd have to make a lot of them, but the DC would be easier. And if I really wanted to make it easy, I could just do 4,000 per month, but now I have to do it for 100. What? 125 months? Is that right? Wrong button, Kearney. Where'd your face go? Here I am. Hi. Let's try that again. Let's try that one more time. 500K divided by 4,000 is, yeah, 125. I was right. 125. So it'd be, on a monthly basis, it would be 125, which would be 10 years, as opposed to 3 years at 4th and 5th rank. It's 10 years, but I only need to make a DC 20 at that rate per month, which my Metropolis could absolutely do and could probably do it without really breaking a sweat. But it's micromanaging it at the month-by-month basis to try to cut corners and make things easy, and you're occasionally going to run into complications as a result of that. Less than that gets ridiculous. Then it becomes 1,250 months. So instead of being 10 years, it becomes 100 years. A village could build a palace in 100 years. Sounds kind of like Pharaoh Temple type stuff to me. But yeah, it would take 100 years for a small village of up to 1,000 people to make a castle. Possibly. Maybe that works, maybe it doesn't. But I really don't think you want to be trying to tackle making a palace unless you are a 4th or a 5th rank guild. It's expensive. It's just expensive. So let's see. Structures can be constructed in settlements. The value of the structure determines the craft DC and duration to construct, as detailed in the Issuing General Order section above. So let's go check the Issuing General Order section above just to make sure this all jives. Craft. Duration. How long it takes to create items of listed value. If the craft duration exceeds 1 Bastion turn, the order must be sustained or progress halts until renewed. While sustained, no further Bastion tests are necessary, but if the order is halted, a new Bastion test must succeed to continue carrying out the order. The crafting item, the facility must have access to suitable materials. The facility is presumed to have sufficient materials to produce any item listed in that any item listed that it can craft. Thank you. But if the craft Bastion test fails, a possible complication is that the material isn't suitable. Otherwise, the material listed for each item is flavor text that can be changed as a DM deems necessary. A Bastion must have a facility of sufficient rank to craft an item. For example, to create a ballista, maybe I don't need to have 200,000 listed. Maybe I can just have like open at that point. No. We want to have it. We want to have a dollar amount there so we can suss out construction time. You can create multiple consumable and non-magical items by combining the total up to the maximum value. For example, a first rank weaponsmith can create 1 weapon per day or 10 swords per week. A second rank smith can create 40 swords per week. See Appendix A below for the listed stuff. And I don't need this middle bit anymore. Don't need this anymore. Right. Good. Higher rank Bastion can the value of what is produced hold on. A Bastion of sufficient rank to produce, to create items, can choose to reduce the scale a Bastion of sufficient rank to create items, to create a specific item, can increase the duration of time to do so by reducing the rank of the order. For example, a third rank Bastion can usually create a single item of 4,000 gold piece value in one, what, month? Yeah. Can use a third rank Bastion can create a single item of 4,000 gold piece value in 1 month with a DC of 20. Instead, the Bastion can slow the creation, can increase the duration to reduce the DC of the test. Can increase the duration of time as a lower rank order to reduce the DC. For example, there we go. The Bastion can instead reduce the order to second rank, creating 400 gold piece value per week with a DC 15, increasing the duration to 10 weeks or 2.5 months. As a single test, single Bastion test with DC 20. Or the Bastion can instead reduce the order, period. Instead, comma, the Bastion can reduce the order to second rank, creating 400 gold piece value per week with a DC burp. Period, comma, increasing the duration to 10 weeks, requiring 10 Bastion tests with DC 15. Yeah, might not be practical. Oh, wait a second. Let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. For example, a third rank Bastion can create a single item of 2,000 gold piece value in 1 month with a... Instead, the Bastion can reduce the order to second rank, creating 400 gold pieces of value per week, increasing the duration to 5 weeks, requiring 5 Bastion tests with DC 15. Now we're starting to look at how can I parse this, because like that 5,000 gold piece value for that outpost. Yeah. So let's go back to the outpost. And we're looking at the outpost. It's 5,000 gold. Yeah, I could easily make that. A 5,000 gold, it's going to be the 25. As one go, it'd be a DC 25. But if I broke it down into a number of weeks, in one season, I could build it with a single go of DC 25. But that 5,000 gold doesn't need that much. Instead, I could make 2 months instead of 4, with 2 checks at DC 20 instead of 25, or I could break it down into 13 weeks, which is still, well, that's 3 months instead of, oh, that's weird. Yeah, 3 months instead of 2, and I would have to make 13 checks at DC 15. So I have those 3 options that I can go with. Now, keeping in mind that if I create a complication, I can just, as long as I'm sustaining the points for it, all I have to do is resolve that complication once, and I'm done, but it's going to take a full season to complete. Or I could risk the 2 for the 2 months, which is, in this case, the most efficient way to do it. If you're at least third rank, you could build that in 2 months, roll out the resources, get it taken care of. It's going to take 2 checks. You might have a complication along the way. If you resolve it, great. But if I was a 4th rank guild that was doing that DC 20, yeah, it'd be D20 plus D10 plus 4. So we'd have a decent chance. We'd have anywhere from a 6 to a 34 chance. On a DC 20, you've got basically a 40% chance of not having any complications that way. It might be worth it. In that case, it'd probably be worth it. I don't think they're perfect. They're not perfect. But we don't technically worry about these things. We don't do a gold piece value, and construction time to like improve facilities. I mean, technically these are facilities. Like these are bastions and facilities. Maybe we need to have a more standardized. No, because I do not want to get into micromanaging these things. I just like the value and the DC. There. Value per order, DC, rank, settlement. Do I need to have... Right, because you build structures and settlements. You have to establish a settlement to be able to build a structure. You got people that are there already and you're building. That makes sense. The week, month, season, year. That also makes sense. I think it's good enough. It's not perfect. I feel like there's an epiphany hiding in there somewhere that's going to come out. I don't see it yet. I think I need to worry less about. Structure, construction, and settlements. The value of the structure determines the craft. The value of the structure determines the craft, the DC, and duration to construct. No. Determines the DC. Right. The rank of the Bastion. The rank of the settlement determines the DC and duration. No, that 200,000 just got resolved by value per order. That's actually really important. Value per order. One order, 200,000 takes a year. Second order, 200,000 takes another year. Structures can be constructed in settlements. The value of the structure determines the DC and duration per order. Maybe if we reword this as the rank of the settlement determines the maximum value per order and the DC for and DC, the duration of each order is determined by the value of each order up to the max rank of settlement. So what we actually need to do is move rank and settlement to be first. And then after that is the value, duration, and DC. So let's fix that. Yeah, this is the way. This is the way. That was me not structuring the order of not determining what was actually the most important variable that set up the rest of the variables. See how that changed? See how much easier that was once we set the rank of the guild, the rank of the Bastion, the rank of the settlement, creating constructing the structure became so much easier than trying to use it as what's the value of the structure first. Now we don't need to have a DC attached to each structure. An abbey costs 50K. And we determine how fast it's going to be built and how difficult it's going to be by the rank of the guild that's making it. So a first rank Bastion, a first rank settlement can attempt to make a large castle, but it's going to be a generational project because there's not a lot of people there with a lot of spare time between living. So it's going to take for fucking ever to make it. That makes sense. Sample, structures, and value. We'll make an actual proper chart out of this eventually. All right, we figured it out. That I was right. The epiphany was hiding in there. I just had to be a little bit more patient. We found it. So yeah, I could make that abbey in 2 seasons if we're making that abbey in the metropolis, or if we had a metropolis. No, kind of like with the army, we don't have to worry about the supply chain specifically. So I shouldn't have to worry about the supply chain specifically for this either. If a metropolis is backing the operation, we can put 200,000 gold piece of value into producing it in a year. There you go. All right, I think I know it's not complete, but it's good enough to play with. This works and should cover the cases. But we're gonna have to fuck around with it and find out. So, for example, blah blah blah, and then conflicting governments. We have that there, and then armies. We've just figured out armies, and now we're looking at Bastion conflicts, sieges, and sabotage. Figured that out already. Oh, I got the yawns. Damage repairing, got that done. Bastion events and complications. All right, so when we come back, we'll start working on Bastion events, and we're going to continue our work on Bastion events and complications. Nice. All right, task complete, success, and it's only 9:10, so we knocked this down in about 3 hours and 10 minutes. Pretty happy about that. I'm done for the night. I'll be back tomorrow morning to continue Eberron artwork. Hope to see you guys there. See you on the other side. Cheers.